Welcome to day 2 of our 24/7 prayer week. My name's Goff and I'm going to be taking the theme of revival and the nations. Today we want to lift our vision a bit beyond Kings to see the church more broadly, both in this nation and further afield, and particularly as part of relational mission, those churches that we're partnering with. In Ephesians chapter 3, the Apostle Paul speaks about God's plan and purpose for the church. And he says in verse 10 that God's intent is that through the church, the manifold wisdom of God might be demonstrated for all to see. And so church is really, really important. And before dialing down into particular churches to pray for, I couldn't resist putting in that note about revival, because I think, bearing in mind all that's been happening in recent weeks and months, and is still happening in our nation, this is a time to pray for the church right across the nation for revival, that God would empower churches right across the nation to find their voice, to take their stand, and be all that Jesus wants them to be. So do be praying for revival broadly in churches across the nation. Then dialing down to those churches that we are particularly partnering with as part of relational mission. First of all, I'd like to be praying for the church in Beccles, where James and Jess have recently moved. Well, in fact, they're there, but they haven't moved house yet. That's something you could be praying for James and Jess to find a home in Beccles, so they're right on the spot there where God's called them to be. I know they've been looking at houses and apparently they've seen one that might be good for them. Pray that that'll go through quickly and well, and be a blessing as that church moves forward. And James also asked that we could pray for the eldership there. They're moving towards building, expanding the eldership. Key moment for the church, getting good foundations in. Please be praying for them. And then lifting our horizon a bit further, you'll see details in the literature you have. I'd like us to be praying for some particular churches. Let's start off with Hafenkirche, which is in Frankfurt. And Simon Tarry, Simon and his wife Natalie. Simon is a Brit, his wife Natalie is German, and they've moved their family to Frankfurt, and they're pioneering a church right in the heart of the city there. Some of you might remember Svante, who was here as a student many years ago, and she now is back in Germany, married, they've got a little baby, and they're part of that church family there. Be praying for that church in the heart of Frankfurt. They've just moved to new premises, and it's a very dynamic, growing situation. And an issue for them would be developing of leaders. They need more leaders, people to take responsibility and help them in their mission. So please be praying for Hafenkirche, Hafen, haven, harbour. I think that's what it means. Do be praying for them. You'll be seeing more of Simon because he's going to be helping me through this next little while in a training program for elders that I'm going to be running. So he'll be coming to Norwich. Watch out for Simon Tarry and hopefully Natalie as well at some point. So that's the church in Frankfurt. And then Stockholm, Grace Church, Stockholm. And there's Phil and Emma. You've probably already been made aware of them. Phil actually is going to be coming to preach in March. Hopefully, we think we've got him coming in March. Phil Whittle, who leads Grace Church there in Stockholm. We gave part of our offering there just a few weeks ago. I think it was £10,000 to help them. It's a great moment for them. They're really growing. They've now got 2 gatherings, 2 congregations. One is Somali speaking, in Stockholm, and real growth happening there. And again, the cry is for more leaders, more people to take responsibility, and so on. So, Grace Church, do be praying for them, and for Phil especially. He's taking responsibility there, and watch out for him. You'll be seeing him here at King's in the next little while. The last church I'd like to put on this agenda would be in Gdansk. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the church there. It's just beyond me. But Kev and Emma Riley have been living and working in Gdansk with their family for about 10 years, maybe more now. And we count them as dear, dear friends. do be praying for them. They've actually been going through quite a tricky time of late. Some key folks have moved on from the church, and so they're feeling the draft a bit, and would really appreciate your prayers. So that's the church in Gdansk. Kev and Emma Riley. Again, we'll look to bring them through the church family here at King's through the year, if at all possible. And we want to grow these relationships so that they really feel cared for and prayed for in Frankfurt and Stockholm and Gdansk. And hey, maybe even through this year, think about whether you might want to take a trip there, be part of a mission team going there, to be there for a few days, a weekend or something. We want to grow our relationship with these churches as we partner together and pray for the Church of Jesus Christ to be wonderfully manifest in these places that we're working with, partnering with as part of the New Frontiers family. More details can be found in the daily email and in the calendar. And tonight's prayer meeting at the venue, King's venue, 7:30 this evening.